Heroin is hell of a drug.
I thought it was cocaine. Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
The Terminator should just drug us all. That would just solve the problem right away.
Skynet missed the whole point.
Yeah, just spray meth
Skynet
all over
didn't
the
even
air.
have to kill us. It just had to spray drugs everywhere.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is JoeJinMovieSoAwesome. I'm Joe.
I'm Won-Jin.
This is our Let's Talk session where we talk with y'all. The reason why we put Japanese anime in the title is because our dearest subscriber Walker mentioned Astro Boy, and then Uichan Hong and us, we also a big fan of Japanese anime. So we just put it on as a title holder. We're going to talk about that continuously, but the main point of this Let's Talk session is for us to talk with y'all. So here you go, guys. Let's have a conversation on the weekend ahead of Chuseok.
So, our generation of Asians, we probably grew up watching a lot of Japanese animations because back then, in South Korea, for example, we had very limited number of domestic, Korean-made animations.
But before you go into that, I would say before animation, there was the Japanese manga and the Korean manhwa. So they share the same Chinese character, but before animation, Korea was all about consuming Japanese manga. Yeah, because me and Won-Jin, we grew up in the... Remember Sonyeon Champ?
Yeah.
Remember Junior Champ? We had weekly
Was it called? Shonen Jump?
Yeah, magazine of... weekly edition of mangas.
Yeah, and this basically gave birth to a lot of the legendary animations that we know. For example, Dragon Ball. And I think it started with Dr. Slump. Yeah,
all great manga me and Won-Jin remember, I think, are serials. So they were always weekly or bi-weekly series. What's up, Skywalker?
Pokemon.
Sorry, boys. My honest opinion, the best Japanese out there is definitely Pokemon. Number one, Astro Boy, Dragon Ball Z, Digimon, and Naruto. Pokemon was still being number one to me. Hey, Walker. Hey, I'm so glad you brought Pokemon up. You know what's great about Pokemon?
What is it?
It's such a simple tale. Pokemon. It was just it had that pan-species vibe before this don't eat dogs were becoming a big thing. Because Pokemon was all about making friends with animals.
What's up, ZZ? This might sound criminal to a lot of people watching this video, but I haven't seen Pokemon. I'm really sorry because you and I were the same generation, but depending on where I lived at the time, I did not have access to certain animations of the time. So I grew up watching probably all the popular animations from the early 90s to the mid 90s. But then I was basically cut off from the late 90s to early 2000s, and that's when Pokemon was a huge hit.
So let me ask you something. You watch Cowboy Bebop?
Later.
Okay.
Yeah, much later. I got them in DVDs.
But you did watch Dragon Ball.
Of course. I grew up watching Dragon Ball.
Slam Dunk.
No, I haven't seen Slam Dunk.
Oh, okay.
I only watched it later.
Okay.
Oh, no, funny thing. I haven't seen the animation Slam Dunk. I've only read the comic book.
No, me too, man. I only saw the manga.
I haven't seen the animation version of Slam Dunk.
Yeah. Okay, so I was trying to bait you into saying something stupid, but you passed. So you were literally just random watching. Yeah, that makes sense. What would the world be like in Pokemon Real in our time, and then can you bring them out of TV cartoon world in our world? What would be? But Walker, I gotta be honest. When me and my friends were talking about Pokemon, it was usually about how inhumane it was to capture these animals and put them in these little capsules. Because Pokemon owes a lot to Dragon Ball. You know what the Dragon Ball, especially when Goku was young, you know what they did? Bulma would just put these cars into capsules. And
that's right.
It broke down the law of physics. But if you know what's funny? Before Dragon Ball, a lot of the Japanese anime I remember was very, very scientifically accurate. As much as possible. I'm not saying they were completely. But Dragon Ball, the magic of the Goku when he was a young series is that there were all these scientific things that were like verging on magic.
Yeah, and there were like these evil corporations called like the Red Ribbons, and they make all these like androids and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Scientifically, if you think about it, the animations that came before Dragon Ball, there used to be a lot of robot like cartoons. You know, for example, Mazinger. I think that thing's like nuclear powered, and it's like it has all these functional limbs on the outside, but we know that doesn't work.
I didn't say they were perfect.
It shoots like flames from the breast, and it's got rocket punch, and
so Zezzy. So I watched Pokemon as a kid on the mornings when I had nothing else to watch before I went to school. Okay.
See, in our generation, in the morning, especially on weekend mornings, we used to watch this thing called like Disney 만화동산, and we had a lot of like Disney cartoons.
Skywalker, look at video right now on YouTube. Anime Scream Ghostface looks pretty badass as an anime character. No, Ghostface is iconic, man. I agree. Do you know in some cartoons how they bring cartoon characters out of their world into our world, and there are the chances people can make a machine or device to do that and bring cartoons out? Skywalker, isn't that called live action, man? I mean, I'm all for that actually, because you know what made me hopeful about that is Sonic the Hedgehog. I thought Jim Carrey really killed that role.
Yeah.
Did you watch it, Won-Jin?
Yeah, Dr. Robotnik. I've seen the first one.
Yeah.
And
I didn't watch the second one.
Yeah, me neither. But the first one, I thought it was really well done.
Me too. I agree.
I kind of felt sorry for kids who did not grow up playing Sonic the Hedgehog, because that was such an like iconic game, just like Super Mario. And there were a lot of those game elements in that movie. And to answer Scott Walker, you know how like there are movies where the cartoon characters like mix with the real world. I think the first one I've seen was Space Jam. You know, those Looney Tunes characters played basketball with Michael Jordan. Yeah. But I couldn't help but think that it was always somewhat awkward for me.
Yeah,
because remember, they're two-dimensional characters.
Yeah, they suck, man. Zezzy, nowadays, if you want to go
Darkwing Duck, oh man,
I'll just go some Pokemon hunting. So Zezzy, that's implying your future potential partner is a Pokemon. Okay. Darkwing Duck was badass.
And Darkwing Duck, Gargoyles.
If you have to choose out of all the Carter and characters and they were in our world, who would you love to interact with? I would actually want a Gundam, man. I would actually want a Gundam. I would want a Gundam in my real world, and I want to ride it. Or Eva from Evangelion.
I wouldn't want that, because that like has influence physiologically
on the pilot.
On the pilot.
Zezzy, you're in your time. I was still an embryo, I think. I never liked Sonic because it has such a French name, and I swear I was born a French folk. What's wrong with you, Zezzy? You gotta show the love to the frog eaters, man. Don't hate on the frog eaters.
That's Sonic. It's not Sonic.
Sonic. That was good. One of my favorite was
Macross.
Macross. Oh
man, those. I think the time when these animations were born, like Gundam and Macross, I think that was like one of the golden era of animation of our history. Yeah, because they had such like tremendous detail into every drawing, and I think that has to do with a lot of like the Japanese like the status economically back then. Yeah, they had so much money flowing around.
No, you were talking about Japan in their prime time.
Yeah, so and the animations, if you watch these 80s animations, you can instantly tell that they spent a lot of money making these, although they're like a TV animation.
I'm sure it made sense, like fiscally too, for them. That's why they made it expensive.
Yeah.
Skywalker, if Pokemon were really are one to do what Ash and everything, but I personally would like to capture the legendary Pokemon. Are you talking about Mewtwo and Mew, the legendary? I love them in the Game Boy. I used to love the Pokemon games. Can you only imagine being in Pokemon and you're being with Ash, Misty, and Brock, and you see Paul asking club in my Misty? Can you only imagine what it would be like get clubbed by her? Do you guys remember the Japanese anime Sailor Moon? Yeah, of course.
Sailor Moon is from our generation. Yeah. I remember, because that's from like the early 90s. But the funny thing about Sailor Moon, and one of the reasons why I got kind of sick of it, is because it's just like Dragon Ball. There's this power inflation. So basically, in the first series, you go through like a huge, tremendous struggle, and you barely get to defeat your nemesis or the supreme villain. But then in the next season or in the next series, they have this huge jump in power through some process. For example, in Dragon Ball, it's always Super Saiyan, and at first we thought that was gonna be it. But then they're like Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3. They just get stronger and stronger. So the same thing happens with Sailor Moon.
Won-Jin, I'm so sorry to say this, but you don't watch Sailor Moon for the plot, man. What are you talking about, son?
And one thing I had trouble understanding with Sailor Moon is like while she's transforming with that song,
that's the best part.
The villain just stands and watches.
Yo,
like, while that's going on.
Yo, Won-Jin.
It's like stomp her.
No, Won-Jin. You don't understand the point of Sailor Moon. I'm gonna be honest. I watch a lot of Sailor Moon. I don't remember the story at all. All I remember is the transformation, man. Hey, channel. I don't know the name in English, but I also like Taiye Demo.
Oh, Taiye Demo. That's like drawn by the same guy who made Dragon Ball. I think that's Dragon Quest.
Oh yeah,
that's
I watched
Dragon
some
Quest.
of it earlier. Yeah. But I honestly don't remember much about it.
And don't we also have that thing like Abel Tamomde?
ZZ, no, Jin did not.
Called Dragon Quest.
Jin did not have a point. He didn't understand the point of Sailor Moon. There's a reason why they're wearing sailor clothes. Okay, ZZ, you're missing the point. Skywalker, I love to capture Sukune Ente Raiko Moture Alcrigazo no Zapos Lugia Oho and all the other legendaries like Dragon Knight. Are those Pokemons? I actually don't know those names, Walker.
The only Pokemon I know is what's his name, the Pikachu. That's
no,
it.
but I remember Mew and Mewtwo is because they look like cats and they're flying cats. But Mew 1 is the real life legendary one, and Mewtwo is like the human like genetically engineered Pokemon.
Oh, it's like a clone.
Yeah.
Ah.
So there was this big movie I still remember like where they fight.
You know, that's also one thing I liked about like Japanese animations. They usually have the series, and they also have like from time to time they have these cinematic versions.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah, and usually they spend more money making them, so you can tell that it's of a greater quality than the TV series.
Yeah, Trish is an absolute Sailor Moon fan. She has the costume, she has the DVD guys. Can you only imagine if they made a live action Sailor Moon action and put it on the big screen? I mean, Skywalker, I actually agree with that idea. I think Sailor Moon is definitely doable in real life.
It would be weird.
Zezzy, nah, I think it was different from most of the kids in my generation. They were all crazy for Sailor Moon, and I'm crazy about Flintstones. No, Flintstones is,
Flintstones.
Flintstones is a completely different genre. They're animation, but Flintstone is on a level of its own, I would say.
Yeah, and I think if we compare this into like with a TV show, I think Flintstones is more like a sitcom.
Zezzy, okay, Skywalker. What would it be like if they did a crossover with Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z or Pokemon Dragon? I think Skywalker as a live action, that's a horrible idea. Did you watch the Dragon Ball movie, man?
Which movie?
Dragon Ball live action movie.
No, I know from like the moment I hear it, I already know it's gonna be a disaster.
Yeah, pure garbage.
Yeah,
pure garbage. Zezzy, I remember the transformation in Black Cat that was called Luna. I remember the pink Pokemon that was destroying everything by singing. It was round and pink, lol, a bubble with a blue big eyes, lol, lol, lol. Skywalker, Motores Articulino, Zapdos del Maltrese is a fire type, the legendary Pokemon flying, so it's Articuno. Articuno is an ice type, Zapdos is an electric type Pokemon.
Okay.
No, but Skywalker, if I look at the picture of them, I recognize them instantly. I just don't remember their names.
I was crazy about Power Rangers.
Power Rangers is amazing.
But as Asians, we grew up watching something called Freshman.
Yeah.
And this is like the precursor to Power Rangers.
Yo,
basically, they took this and took it to the United States, and they came up with Power Rangers. And I heard this like behind story of all this, like the Power Rangers. When they first like when they first
They hated their jobs.
No. The guy who planned it, when he pitched it, the studio thought it was a stupid idea. This is never gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
And when they first came out with the first season of Power Rangers, all the kids all over the country went super crazy with it.
Yeah. Hey, whoever decided to put motorcycle helmets on those warriors is a genius. Like, that's the coolest thing ever. Because, like, I think the pitching guy, they knew what they were doing. Because even as a kid, I remember looking at motorcycles passing by and looking at their helmets, and I was like, "That's the coolest thing ever." That looks like there's gonna be like a robotic sensor. Because Japanese anime ruined me, because like even in Dragon Ball, the Scouter, everything, I thought those things were real.
Yeah, they used to make toys. So Scott Walker, you probably know that there were these like Pokemon cards that kids collect, and in our days we had Dragon Ball cards, and every card has like a secret, like this battle data. It has like a number, like showing how strong this card is. And in order to read that, you needed the Scouter. Yeah. And they sold the Scouter, but basically you can have the same effect with this like red cellophane, like a sheet of red cellophane, and you can read the number of the card, like how powerful it is. Because remember, in the comic, the Scouter is used by Vegeta and his thugs to calculate the battle power of a character.
They're not thugs, man. They're Frieza's elite forces.
Oh yeah, more like elite
Don't
forces.
call them thugs. What are you talking about?
Kinyu Tukjeonde, they're special forces.
Hey, yo. Like, the Frieza Saga is the best in Dragon Ball ever. Like, the Scouter idea. Remember how... it's going up to 1,000.
100,000, and then it explodes.
10,000. What was the last score? 300,000, sir. What? And then it was amazing. The Freshman. Green Ranger was badass. Fuck yeah. It makes me think of Fruit Salad connected to Freshman. I used to steal Pokemon cards from my classmates to annoy them. That makes sense as a pineapple pizza eater. That definitely does. No, but like, the great thing about Japanese anime, including Dragon Ball, was that it was such a optimistic view of our scientific evolution. Remember, before the 21st century, we thought we'll be like conquering the moon by now and traveling to Mars and shit.
That's a great point. And I also like to point out some animations kind of like hinted at the atrocity it could bring as well. Because if we watch movies like Gundam, it basically, it's not like a superheroes like cartoon or anything. It kind of shows the destruction of wars, and we see the world of humans is divided by like those with the technology and those who don't.
No, but like, I would say this though. Sometimes Japanese anime go overboard with this like humans are instinctively evil and shit. I think the Japanese sometimes take it too far. Like that German depressive novels, like Werther's Diary or whatever the fuck. And Japan just took a fucking okay, I'm gonna say, I was about to say very inappropriate things, but I stopped. I just like, I think as much as Koreans love Japanese anime, some of them are too depressing. I think they are not afraid to go to like dark themes.
So there are like a lot of dystopian animations. For example, we just talked about Terminator, but in Japanese animation we have Akira. We also have, what was it? Ghost in the Shell.
Those littles were so annoying when they threatened each other with those cards as if it was real or something. No, that was adorable, man. Scott Walker. I don't like other Pokemon movies. I prefer the original. They were the best Pokemon films of all time, in my honest opinion. I'm not trying to offend and upset Pokemon fans, but I think, Scott Walker, a lot of people prefer the original. Because I think every anime series, like, I have a question. What did you think about Dragon Ball GT?
I think Dragon Ball GT was a great idea, and I also thoroughly enjoyed watching Dragon Ball GT. It kind of felt like a throwback to the original Dragon Ball series, because they make Goku like little again. Because of that wish, he becomes the little boy. And I don't know, throughout watching Dragon Ball GT, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I also didn't mind the power inflation there because that was just like one step next to the Super Saiyan 3. Now I heard that it just now went to the moon. But back then, I thought it was well written. And also I kind of liked the idea of going like all in with the story because in the end they fight with the gods inside the Dragon Ball. How crazy is that?
Yeah, definitely. I love some parts of it, definitely.
But I think it should have stopped there. That should have been the end.
Is there
Goku
more?
gets absorbed into the dragon in the end.
Yeah.
And he remains a legend, and that's it. Now I think we have like even more like series of Dragon Balls, and it just knows. I mean, it doesn't know when to stop.
Okay. I have problem understanding anime gestures and emotional expressions. I think it's Asian thing.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why some of them would be super awkward as a live action film.
Channel, nowadays I love to see various villain settings. It makes me happy to see unique villains. Yeah, I agree. Scott Walker, how can I try not to offend Pokemon fans of today that because they grew up with Pokemon stuff than nowadays, but the stuff we grew up with was a lot better. How can we try to offend them? I think it's just different times, man. Because I think we might think it's better, but they might have a different opinion. Scott Walker, can we talk about scary stuff? Planes out of the house, Spider-Man, Toby, Maguire. Sure, man. Shoot us. Shoot the question. The people in Europe think that Asians don't express enough emotions, but trust me, we only have 3 moods: happy, sad, angry. No, Zezzy, you know what they don't understand? That in Asian culture, restraining your emotion is considered an art. The Japanese take it a lot. Koreans are actually the most expressive, I guess, for both good and bad. But refraining from expressing emotion is part of our culture. It's not that we don't have emotions. It's just that we don't tell the whole fucking village about it. Scott Walker, boys, I got something funny to tell you about how Goku eats so much. She has a big appetite. I've got Goku appetite. Yeah. No, but eating a lot is a common theme in Asian folklore. Look at Choparge, like Piglet from Journey to the West. Like eating a lot is a virtue. Says the anime has drops of water on the forehead, drop of water on the cheek, drop if water on eye corner, lines on the forehead, lines on the nose, line under eye. This is just most common emotional expression in anime. Do you guys
personally believe Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is the best out of Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man? I mean, that's kind of hard to like answer because I think they all have their own charm. But for me, I'm most fond of Tobey Maguire because I think he really captures like this essence of Spider-Man where he goes through a lot of like personal tragedies and he through those tragedies he becomes the Spider-Man that he is. And I think it was really well portrayed by Tobey Maguire. But Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland, they also have their own charm. And if you watch their Spider-Man, they also kind of play like a different aged Peter Parker within Spider-Man. So I think it's kind of difficult to say who's like the best out of all 3.
No,
they
but
all have their own
I
charm.
can answer that. Tobey Maguire was the least handsome out of the 3 of them, and I'm not knocking Tobey Maguire. I'm just saying he portrayed that regular dude well. That's his charm. Netflix is remaking Ranma. Shit, 1.5. Yeah.
Man, that I always thought that's gonna be really tricky these days.
Because of the male-female thing?
Yeah, because of that thing.
That was the best part of it, though. Doesn't Ranma bang man and woman in the animation?
I think so.
Yeah.
Which is really queer if you think about it.
No, man. When you were a kid, it made perfect sense. Adults are just complicating it.
Yeah, we didn't put much thought into it, but as you like reflect on what that cartoon like showed us, it's gonna be really tricky.
No, but the interesting thing is, first of all, when Ranma turned into woman, my eyes were laser focused. Second of all, but looking back, it was definitely male centric though, because Ranma has a girlfriend. I don't think Ranma female has a boyfriend. So the problem.
But don't you think to make it suitable for 21st century standards, you should have he should also have a boyfriend.
That's why it's gonna ruin it because they're gonna overthink it.
See, that's why it's tricky.
Yeah, they're gonna overthink it. Not to mention when they use the emotional expression of eyeball shaking, chin shaking, eyeball shaking, hand shaking. No, but that's called using the medium. Hey guys, remember, ZZ. If you ever watch a theater play and you watch them do like gestures, right? That's not how real people act. It's just like that. You know, it's like I think anime, theater, or movies, they're all what's the word?
Dramatized.
Over dramatized. So anime is just like that too. You got to remember it's for entertainment. So they're not supposed to be real.
How can you not be a fan of people today about the movies and TV shows? We grew up watching like stuff of today, especially with all the CGI cartoons. How can you not be fan children and upset them? I don't know. It's gonna be really tricky. And do you guys remember there was the Three Kingdoms? Yeah, the Romance of Three Kingdoms had a cartoon. I even remember the song. Yubi Kwanu Changbi Poksunga Namu Ares. Anyways, that was awesome back then. And I also remember we had this comic book version of the Romance of Three Kingdoms, which were like 60 volumes. There were 60 books.
Written and drawn by Japanese, by the way. Because Romance of the Three Kingdoms is originally a novel written in
China
during the Ming Dynasty. It's based on historical facts during around the time Jesus was born. But it's hugely popular in China, Japan, Korea, South Korea, and Vietnam. Oh, and I gotta say, when me and Won-Jin talk Korea, we're referring to South Korea. Last time I remember we were talking about Korea, but I think a lot of our subscribers may not know that. So I feel bad about that. When we talk about Korea, we're talking about South Korea. If Ranma boy just like your girlfriend and then Ranma girl is a lesbian, was that okay? Lesbian?
That would also be really interesting.
Yeah.
So as a boy, if Ranma has a girlfriend, then...
Yo, wait, shut up. Jin sings like a professional opera singer? Jinzes was born? What the fuck? You sing like an opera singer?
Jinzes was born? What do you mean? How can you try not to offend Star Wars fans by saying the show and movies have been gone for too many years and saying that we should concentrate on Jurassic Park franchise now? I think it's really difficult to offend Star Wars fans today because I think
they're already offended.
They're already offended by the Star Wars shows.
Stop thinking too much watching cartoon.
That's true. And we should like brainwash ourselves that we're children.
Hey, but counter argument to that. If you love what you love, continue loving it, man.
Tell us about your scary ghost experience you had. Well, it's not exactly like a ghost experience. I think I may have mentioned it while we were doing the show, but there was like a time in the army where I fell asleep, and my this guy in the same platoon, he and I had the same dream with the same old man dressed in the same way, telling us the same thing. Which is kind of creepy.
That's it?
So, yeah. So, we're thinking that maybe there's something like paranormal going on in that part of the area. And there was a time when we were out on patrol and we could hear like a baby singing.
Okay, first of all, your dream... You guys saw the same poster that day. Number one. And you guys were malnutrition tired. Number two, baby singing. That's probably an animal, son. You know, hey, can I tell you a funny story? Yesterday, I was running at night because I drank too much the other day and I needed to burn out the calories. When I was running, I heard... and then it was like 2 a.m. I literally heard those sounds as I was walking.
Was there running. Like a hyena?
Yeah. That sound of the trees. No, seriously, man. If you go... Hey, I can tell you guys don't run at night. Guys, I swear to God, 2 a.m., run through a forest course, you will hear all kinds of sounds. Okay, Zezzy, Jesus was born, but in Asia, there's no Jesus. So the first name, we have Buddha, man. That came to mind was a hybrid between Jesus and Jin, because they start with the same letter.
Jesus.
Jesus. No, but Jesus can be Jesus. Joe, what about that high-pitched scream you heard? You promised you'd tell me about it. I did promise you to tell about it, but I'm not going to tell you tonight, Scott Walker. It's actually a very dark story. It's actually, like, Won-Jin's story is actually very charming. It's about two army buddies thinking about killing time and forming a camaraderie to how to survive it together, yeah? Jin, that was a cat in the heats. Joe, that was your liver screaming in pain. What? My liver is screaming in pain. Hey, Zezzy, that was funny.
Which scene in the Spider-Man movie scheduled in the most with the Green Goblin, and which part of the movie made you jump the match with the jump scares with the Green Goblin? What do you mean, Scott Walker? I think Green Goblin in the first movie, the first Toby Maguire movie, was the best of all time. I love Willem Dafoe like acting in front of the mirror, playing that like two like different identities.
That was best.
He killed it in that movie. That was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what I like about the first movie, Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire?
What?
It's the look. The whole movie has that. You know what I mean?
The early 2000s.
Yeah, it's not quite.
And it's not just the look; it's also the way it's edited.
I'm glad you mentioned that. It was brilliant in that it was such a. It was almost old school, but not quite. Yet it had those enough new elements to freshen up that old vibe. But the story and the plot and even the theme and everything was just so old school to me. And it was like, what's that director is famous? What was his name again?
The
one who did Scarlet Witch. Sam Raimi.
Oh, Sam Raimi. That's right,
Raimi. Like Sam Raimi is so good at telling that classic tale.
Before planes fly into the airport, why do they fly over the suburbs? For I love watching planes fly over my house, especially when I was a kid. There's something about planes flying at night. I think those might be planes like waiting for their approval for landing, because airport is surprisingly busy with traffic. So they need to until like the traffic clears. Some airplanes have to wait, like flying around. Yeah, maybe that's why.
I also believe that it is a route thing, because those planes have to. I think how they do it is they give certain space to each plane, especially if they're in the air, and that's the reason.
So Green Goblin was the first time when I saw Dafoe in a movie, and I thought, man, this guy's so ugly, only a mother could love him. Also, his face got so well stuck into my brain that I kind of started to think he has a certain charm.
Yo, Zedzi, you are banned from the chat. How dare you insult the great Willem Dafoe? He's a great actor. What are you talking about? Hey, Willem Dafoe is one of those actors that can play anything.
That's right. And even when he plays Green Goblin, we have this pity for him because of the way he can portray that character.
No, it's like, I think Willem Dafoe is classically trained, because that's basically his acting there is from Jekyll and Hyde. It's a classic Jekyll and Hyde situation. And the reason why it works is Willem Dafoe is very great at playing empathetic characters and evil characters at the same time. And it's a complete transformation.
Gotta go, bye-bye. We'll sleep now, me old tired. All right, Wichan Hong, have a good night.
Yo, thank you so much.
Great Chuseok.
Yo, thank you so much for joining us, Wichan Hong. Won-Jin already bought your iPad, he told me secretly, until we hit 1 million subscriber, and we're going to put your name on the huge video and stuff. Thank you so much. Skywalker, I mean, which scenes with the Green Goblin made you jump and scan your tomorrows on your first time you watched the movie? No, Won-Jin just mentioned the mirror scene. For me, I loved it when he attacked the party, the festival.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
And that's the first time he makes like public appearance as Green Goblin. Yeah.
And I even love Green Goblin's design. The armor, like this he's almost Joker before the Joker.
Yeah, and it was very, I think, true to the way he looks in the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
But also kind of like more state of the art kind of like feel to it.
Yeah, more terrifying than just a murderer is a murderer who was enjoying the killing. You know, that's what we're afraid of, I think, instinctively.
Look at this YouTube video. This fishman was listening to the sounds and know that they said they're mermaids singing to him. Check it out. Video called "Mermaids Singing to Sailors." Okay, that's alarming because you know when we hear like mermaids singing to sailors, usually
dehydration.
We remind ourselves of the sirens.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not usually singing for like a good cause.
Yeah.
They're not singing so the sailors could be entertained.
Yeah, those sailors
they usually sing so they can kill them.
Yeah, those sailors are either high because they're bored as hell on the boat, or they need a lot of help.
Defoe would be good in Joker.
I think a lot of people. Hey, Zizzy, a lot of people I think share that opinion.
Mm-hmm. Because he could kill that role.
You know, Won-Jin, Defoe is like Gary Oldman to me.
Yeah,
is like an actor's actor, kind of where they're not traditionally handsome, but because they bring so much charisma
and so much presence in the scene.
Yeah, that's a good word. They're hard to ignore. They're captivating, and they play all kinds of roles.
That's right.
You gotta remember, Gary Oldman played Dracula in Bram Stoker, and he played Commissioner Gordon in Batman.
And he also played a corrupt cop in Leon the Professional. He also played that Rastafari dude in True Romance. He can play anything.
He confessed later that he was drunk for it most of the time. So, that makes sense, right? He is handsome, but just not in a commercial way. Zizzy has a very clear idea of what's handsome and not. I thought you Westerner was above that. I thought Koreans were obsessed with looks. But I don't know. Like, I think the charming and charisma part Won-Jin talked about is the most important.
Are mermaids real? And I'm a believer. I want to know what would happen to them. Will they be captured alive or anything? What are you guys personally? What would happen to them? I don't think they're real. But if they are real, I'm pretty sure, I guarantee you they will be captured and they will be sent to a lab. And yeah, they're going to go through all sorts of experiments.
Yo, Won-Jin, don't you think it's kind of weird that sailors, when they're delirious and high on rum and low on food, will imagine mermaids, like female fishes in the sea? I mean, I think that's quite telling.
Have you seen that movie documentary called Mermaids? The body found. A lot of people thought it was a real documentary based on true event, but it wasn't. So in the show, did it happen? I don't know. I've never seen it. But I always think to myself, if mermaids are real, I don't think they're gonna look like the way we imagine.
Do you think the fish will be on top and the human will be
Maybe.
on the
I think
bottom?
that would make more sense because then all the important organs are up there.
No, but you know what? That would be terrifying.
Yeah,
man.
with human legs.
Oh my god, and human organs. I'm talking about like the organs that matter.
I think that if you get the charisma and the charm, you'll see the true beauty of a person, and that beauty will transfer to everything that person, not just character, but also appearance.
But hey, Won-Jin, that's at 7 minutes. How long have we been streaming?
We've been streaming for 40 minutes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
we gotta go.
It's time to wrap it up, so I think we'll take one question each from Walker ZZ and Uchano if you're still with us.
And one more thing, you know fishes, they just poop while they're swimming in the water. You can guarantee that mermaids will just poop in the middle of the water.
Well, Won-Jin, point the camera at me. I just said goodbye to our beautiful, loyal subscribers. Why would you consider that important enough to share before we turn it off? What the fuck is wrong with you? Are you like low on blood sugar or something?
Maybe.
Zizzy, no.
Jin, look at the one. Look up mermaids, the body found when you're on the screen.
Oh, he wants you to search it right now.
Mermaids, the body.
Yeah, we'll search it. Hey, that's Scott Walker's last question, so let's do him the honor. Thank you, Won-Jin, and thank you, Scott Walker.
Oh, this is it. Watch this. Look at this.
Okay, let me watch it.
Do we get it? Yeah, this is more convincing. If there is a mermaid, maybe this is the way they look. They're not gonna look like Ariel from Disney's The Little Mermaid singing. Look at this stuff. No.
Oh man,
Yeah, this is more like it. All right, plausible.
Okay. Zenzi, how do you celebrate Chuseok? By beating Won-Jin in King of Fighter 10 times in a row. Yo, Zenzi, I gotta confess. Won-Jin begged like a bitch last time we played King of Fighters.
Just like I have the iPad ready for Uchan home. Spreading false information.
Oh shit, Won-Jin looking at me like, fuck you. Ah, shut the fuck up. Oh shit. I'm just fucking with you. Boys, next week, can we do a video on mermaids? Hey, Scott Walker, how about we do a video on mythical creatures then? Because I think, Walker, we love your suggestion, but let's make it wider.
Yeah.
So that everybody
there will be more
can talk
material
about
to cover.
different things. So, I mean, I like that concept because I can talk about mythical creatures all days, man. I mean, the story says we have explored more things from outer space than the depth of the ocean.
Yeah,
that's true.
We don't know what's lurking down there.
Zezzy, he will beat you. You mean me beat Won-Jin, right? Thank you, Zezzy. But anyway, guys, I think it's time to wrap it up.
We gotta get food.
Hey, guys, please understand that he will turn you into a tiger rug in front of his bed. Zezzy, that's pretty sexy. That's actually, I don't think you meant it that way, but that sounds real sexy. I wouldn't mind if Won-Jin turned me into a tiger rug in front of his bed. Jin will absolutely transform into a white-wear tiger. Oh man, yo, Won-Jin.
Huh?
Yo, Scott Walker got all the love for you, man.
Absolutely transform into a white-wear tiger. Woo-woo.
Yo, so Scott Walker, thank you for saying such a comment to me too as well. And Zedzi, thank you for cheering me on too. Yes, I am the best. Guys, before you end the chat, I want you guys to say Joe is superior to Jin. And, you know, because then I promise you, when we hit 2 million subscribers,
yes,
I will do something nice for you.
I think that's a good idea because I can see that he needs external approval to reassure himself.
Yeah. Hey,
which I don't need.
Yeah, but it's Chuseok, so guys, that's hey, Chuseok is Korea's version of Thanksgiving because this is when we do the harvest in our history. How tall are you, Joe? I'm like 178 centimeters, so that's like 9.5.
How about Jin? How tall? I'm like 184. Jin,
no, you're like 6'1", right, in inches?
I think that's just under 6'1". Yeah, because
no, but you're more than 6 feet.
Yeah, I think I'm just a little more than 6 feet, but a little less than 6'1", maybe.
Joe, you can't even be sharing in centimeter. Sensei, you're such a secular person.
Please, mate, I'm begging you, get a white tiger tattoo on your arm. Do it for me, please. Just triangles over the pain. Trust me, it's worth it. Oh, maybe. Okay.
Yo,
I never considered like getting a tattoo.
I'm glad Walker is your fan, man. I'm so glad. Yeah. Is that Z? Joe, you can't be superior in centimeters. Like, I thought you just said charisma and presence. What have you been listening to our show? Okay, but anyway, guys,
let's go.
Hey, Won-Jin, before we end, let's do a shout out. Thank you so much, ZZ. Thank you so much, Scott Walker, for always leaving a reply.
And Uchan Hong.
Thank you so much, Uchan Hong. I know you were tired, but thank you for staying with us. Thank you to Jasmine, Kayla Marie, Russian ID, and all our 43 subscriber guys. So, guys, we always do a Saturday podcast. We review a movie or TV series, one or two of them, and then we do this Let's Talk session to just communicate with y'all and talk about everything and anything. Okay, guys?
Okay. And Scott Walker, don't worry, I'm not offended by that. It doesn't offend me at all. It's fine.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll eat burgers. We're still unsure. And, of course, we'll take our vitamins.
Zezzy, I know for sure we're not eating pineapple pizza. That's right, Zezzy. Or Scott Walker, I'm so sorry, but chocolate-laced pizza was it last time. But anyway, guys, we got to say goodbye now. This has been JoeJinMovieSoAwesome. I'm Joe.
I'm Won-Jin.
Guys, have a great weekend. Great week. We'll see you next Saturday. Bye. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys.
Happy Chuseok.
What happened to that boy? What happened to that boy? Yo, you guys don't know Won-Jin actually has a tiger tattoo up his ass.